It all started on a Wednesday when Clara Thornton, a spirited schoolteacher from Ohio, disembarked from the train in a small frontier town called Abilene, Kansas. The year was 1872, and Clara had taken a bold leap to adventure, seeking new opportunities and experiences in a rapidly changing America. The air was thick with the scent of bustling trade, a melting pot of dreams propelled by the burgeoning railroad. Clara's arrival coincided with the peak of the cattle drives, the town's lifeblood powered by the ambitious cowboys who rode in with herds from Texas. Among them was Jonah Willard, a rugged rancher with azure eyes and a heart as vast as the open plains. His life was one of hardship and endurance, shaped by the struggles of the frontier and the inevitable changes that encroached upon it. Their first meeting was serendipitous. Clara stumbled upon Jonah at the general store, where she was purchasing supplies for her classroom. As she reached for a box of chalk, their hands brushed against each other, igniting a spark in that ordinary moment. Jonah, intrigued by her bright spirit and elegant attire, struck up a conversation, and the two found themselves lost in tales of the frontier, with dreams that mirrored each other's. Days turned into weeks, and their encounters at the general store transitioned into chance meetings at town gatherings. Amidst the laughter and music in the saloon, Clara was swept away by Jonah's stories of cattle drives, and he was charmed by her tales of education, illuminating minds through the power of reading. He admired her tenacity and intelligence, rare in a time when women were often confined to traditional roles. Together, they learned, challenged, and inspired each other. However, their burgeoning romance faced challenges. The Kansas frontier was not just a land of opportunity, it was also volatile, filled with tension from cattle rustlers and the ever-present threat of conflict. Just as Clara and Jonas sensed their connection growing deeper, a series of events shook the small town. A gang of thieves, taking advantage of the cattle drive chaos, began to raid the outskirts, terrorizing families and ranchers alike. It was during this tumultuous time that Jonah decided to take a stand. One evening, as Clara gazed at the stars from her porch, she heard galloping hooves in the distance. Jonah rode up, breathless and determined, his expression grave. "There's been trouble on the eastern range, Clara," he said, his voice steady, despite the uncertainty of their world. "I need to go after them, but I wanted to tell you, you mean more to me than I can express. If anything were to happen—" Clara interrupted him, fear creeping into her heart. "You can't go alone. They're dangerous, Jonah. You need help." Jonah offered a reassuring smile, his eyes reflecting the moonlight. "I'll be back, I promise. I have to protect our future, whatever it may hold." The next morning, Jonah rode off with a band of fellow ranchers, determination set in his jaw. Days turned into a week, and Clara waited anxiously in town, teaching with one eye on the door, the other on the horizon. Finally, after what felt like an eternity of worry, news arrived. Jonah had engaged the thieves near the river, a confrontation that could have cost him his life. Miraculously, the local lawmen intervened just in time, forcing the bandits to retreat. With a weary but triumphant spirit, Jonah returned to Abilene. That night, as a celebration erupted in town, Clara caught sight of Jonah among the crowd. Their eyes locked, and in the jubilant chaos, they found their way to each other. "You came back," Clara said, relief washing over her. Jonah pulled her close, the scent of leather and sweat mingling with summer air. "I wouldn't leave you, not for anything." Under the vast starry sky, they shared a moment. Their fears melted away, replaced by the warmth of burgeoning love. It was a promise of companionship, a bond forged through trials and unwavering devotion. In the years that ensued, Clara and Jonah built a life together, a blend of education and ranching, teaching the next generation on the frontier about courage, dreams, and the power of love against all odds. The tales of their connection lingered in Abilene, inspiring countless others as they too weighed the risks of love in a world so often perilous, but ultimately rich with possibility.